According to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2030, providing quality education to all is fundamental to creating a peaceful and prosperous world. The failure to identify children with learning disorders is proven to hinder the administration of quality educational instruction to such children. But wait a second, what exactly is a learning disorder? A learning disorder is a neurodevelopmental disability that affects basic cognitive processes such as reading and writing. About 10 to 15% of children worldwide are estimated to have learning disorders. Currently, there is a huge lack of awareness and even stigmatization surrounding learning disorders in the world. Most parents and teachers are simply unaware of the existence of such disorders or refrain from addressing them due to social inhibition. In order to address the prevailing problem, the identification of children who are at risk of developing these learning disorders is fundamental. However, the current risk assessment tests are largely inaccessible and often require long, expensive sessions with certified medical professionals. They're also highly intrusive in nature and lack a child-centric approach. So, what's the solution? I am Spurti Nambali from Team India and I present to you DISDIAC, a novel risk assessment and screening tool for learning disorders in children. The objective of my project was to create accessible, easy to administer, and child-friendly risk assessment tools for learning disorders such as dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia. By adopting novel approaches such as the gamification of quizzes and the usage of machine learning image classification models, DISDIAC was successful in recording positive scores in both its case-control study as well as its review by medical professionals. In a nutshell, by aiding in the early identification of children with learning disorders, I want to bridge the gap in providing such children with the required, or rather necessary help and support. The ultimate goal is to create a better, brighter future generation where no one is hindered from learning up to their full potential and becoming the best version of themselves. The objectives for creating DISDIAC were as follows. Number 1, to develop a risk assessment tool in the form of computerized application that would aid in identifying children who show signs of neurodevelopmental disorders conveniently and efficiently. Number 2, to facilitate the mass screening of young children for learning disorders and further lead to early intervention measures. And lastly, number 3, destigmatize learning disorders in children and help raise awareness regarding initial signs and symptoms. The project plan consisted of 5 parts: background research, developing a proposed framework, website development, validation, and testing. DISDIAC is an artificial intelligence powered web application that aids in the convenient and accurate diagnosis of learning disorders. It mainly deals with 3 disorders. The test for dyslexia, that is a disability regarding difficulty reading, is in the form of a simple visual-based gamified quiz. It mainly checks the child's auditory skills, phonemic skills, and visual spatial skills. The risk assessment test for dysgraphia, that mainly deals with difficulty writing, consists of 2 machine learning image classification models. It classifies the child's handwriting sample as either dysgraphic or normal based on 6 diagnostic criteria. The first machine learning model recorded a precision of 78.57% and an F1 score of 0.93, while the second machine learning image classification model recorded a precision of 96.43% and an F1 score of 0.99. The test for dyscalculia, which deals with difficulty in math, is in the form of simple gamified visual-based arithmetic quiz. It also deploys a facial emotion recognition model to scan the child's face for signs of fear, stress, or anxiety. In order to further test DISDIAC, we conducted a test run on 40 kids divided into 2 groups, that is a controlled group and an experimental group. The model mainly classified the experimental group under high risk or very high risk and the control group under low risk or moderate risk. The sensitivity was 90% and the specificity was 90%. Ethical considerations that were taken in during the process of developing DISDIAC were: all the data was collected anonymously for privacy reasons, parental consent was taken before collecting data from children, and all testing was done under the supervision of parents or guardians.